What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. Hope you're all doing well. I am Justin Harold, your host of the Cleveland Pulse podcast, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. Today, we are talking about the Browns' big win against the Titans in a game where they dominated for the greater part of it. A very close score at the end, 41-35, Cleveland. But a huge game nonetheless for the Browns, moving to 9-3. Tennessee Titans moving to 8-4. Jeff, I would usually start this off by asking you how you were doing, but I had a lot of people message me after the game. My uncle specifically, he wanted me to, ask for a formal apology on two of our videos.
Which ones? The ones where
are the Browns actually better than what they are, and does Baker Mayfield deserve a contract extension? I just thought that was really funny that my uncle was. He was licking his chops on that one, but
true, fair enough.
No hate there.
Yeah, I got it. Makes sense. I mean, wow. That game, that first half, I did not think we were going to be able to top the Dallas first half, but we did. And, we did it should have had 5 touchdowns. Baker should have had 5 touchdowns in the first half. So I texted you, I said no comment on the second half. That pretty much remains true. Yeah. Besides the fact where that's just kind of the difference. All right, I'll just go over my big highlights. Shout out to the defense. Defense does a great job, even giving up 35 points. So that's kind of how our defense has played all year long. Yeah. We play good enough to win, even if we give up big points and big plays. Did a great job on Derrick Henry. I think that was probably the offense played so well that it was kind of overshadowing how good we played Derrick Henry. That I didn't check the stats, but he did not rush for that many yards. It might be his lowest rushing yards.
60 yards.
Maybe. Might be up there. And capitalize on the loose balls, on the turnovers. That interception, MJ Stewart, the play on the goal line where they fumbled and they picked it up, and that was their luck. And then we got the luck with that ball popping right up in the air, because looking back on it, that drive is the go-ahead score to lose. Basically, if they would have scored a touchdown there, I mean, obviously the game's totally different, everything happens differently, but they were in field goal range, at minimum, and that play was on like the 15 or the 10-yard line, and we picked it off and, decent run back. So, I mean, we win by 6, and we have a turnover in the red zone, I believe. So, a great job for the defense. Baker Mayfield, if he plays like that the rest of the year, I mean, that's your guy. That's the biggest game. That's the biggest game of his career. That's the best half of his career. That's the best game of his career, and that's probably the most timely performance that we've seen from him. Can't ask him to do that every game. Nobody's asking him to do that every game, but this team isn't built around him doing that every game. But man, that's the Oklahoma Baker. That's the rookie year Baker that we all love, and it doesn't make any sense, Justin. Why? Why does he light it up with Higgins and Donovan Peoples-Jones? It makes no sense. Higgins is a stud, though.
Higgins is, oh my God, dude. All right, talking about Higgins, if we're gonna talk about Higgins for a minute, then I gotta go and show this really quickly. But
baby,
dude, this has got to be the coolest video in the world. I know you've seen it because I've been retweeting it constantly. Is it popped up?
Yes.
You can see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, this is easily the greatest video I've ever seen, because I've never seen Baker do something so athletic. But this is by far the coolest celebration in all the NFL. But Baker coming in like that? Are you kidding me? I can't rewind it, but like that's insane. Look at him. Baker's never done anything like that before. Well, I mean, he might have done it a couple plays before this where he toe tapped and caught the ball, but my God,
I don't know what that play was. Dude. That play was so interesting.
Oh my Lord. And Jarvis just taking a beating as usual. But I mean, dude, yeah, we can talk about the text that you sent, but like Baker just has something with these, and it was evident in his first year too, with just Jarvis and Higgins. He was making it work with Brashard Perriman and our tight ends that we had back then, and even last season he made guys like Ricky Seals-Jones really kind of pop and all that. But yeah, Higgins 95 yards and a touchdown. Donovan Peoples-Jones should have had 3 catches and more yards and a second touchdown. Unfortunate, but makes up with it. He's got to be our fastest player now. Now that OBJ and JoJo Natson are down, right?
He looks slow returning the kickoff, but
you know what? He doesn't do the kickoffs anymore, but he does punt returns well.
The kickoff, but when he used to return the kickoffs, he did look slow. I liked Ernest Johnson back there. The punts, he had one good one and one where he was running side to side. That felt like for 40 yards. I'm okay with that though, as long as he don't call for a fair catch inside the 10. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, but I mean, man, it's just like it's hard for me to start where I want to go with this. I mean, obviously I want to talk about Baker. I think I listened to like multiple different people from the time that the game ended until now that were talking about Baker. And I don't think they said like Baker didn't miss a throw. The only throw he missed was technically on the intentional grounding, which if I can just make a point to that, Kevin Stefanski needs to when he makes those boot plays,
we need to do better.
He just needs to have someone running a flat. He just needs to have someone running a flat over there because it's happened. It's happened multiple times where Baker boots and the dude's right in his face. He's like, well, I don't want to take the sack, so I got to throw it. And
he has like 5 or 6 intentional grounding calls on him this year, which is
it's all from the boots.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's all from the boots. But that's that. I mean, but Baker apparently, like people were saying, like drop passes where he was 25 of 33, over 70%.
More drops.
And obviously that first one that could have been a touchdown by Donovan Peoples-Jones. It was like right in his hands, but it was just such a like amazing game offensively from everyone. And to be honest with you, me and you usually say something about Kevin Stefanski's play calling. In the second half, it was passive for a reason.
It should have been, but you got to score. You can't go no touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah, it is a little bit frustrating because like I understand where he's coming from and everything. But if we stick to the first half, that was the first time that I really felt like there was a flow to the game and it continued all the way through the first half. And like, because you rode Baker's hot hand. And that was the first time that Baker was ever first time this season, Baker's got over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think that's one less in the Cincinnati game. I think he had 5 in that Cincy game. But nonetheless, I mean, the plays that they were calling, guys were just like, it's so weird because like we talk about, you want to throw OBJ in there, and it's so weird that like when OBJ's in, I just don't know if it might be Baker. It might just be Baker trying to feed Odell the ball, but like guys are just so wide open in a lot of these situations.
We were torching their zone, that we were getting everything that we wanted. Our wide receivers were just sitting down in space.
Yeah, but like, and the one thing I do want to talk about is like Baker looks so comfortable in the pocket now.
Looks great in the pocket.
It's ridiculous. And maybe it's because the Titans, I didn't even know, Jadeveon Clowney underwent season-ending surgery on Wednesday. And like we didn't see it until Sunday. And so the Titans might not have had like a great pass rush, but like again, like the Titans aren't a bad team. We went over it in the pregame. They're not a bad defensive team. They're not phenomenal. They have a lot of takeaways.
They were better last year. And that's the big point. They were plus 11 turnover differential coming to this game. They had 5 turnovers before playing us. We had 3 against them. We almost have half of their season turnovers in one week.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's crazy. Baker's taking his time. Like, obviously, a lot of credit to the offensive line. In the pass protection, they are just giving him a ton of time. I think of the weird play where Jarvis is lined up all the way in the backfield, and like Nick's lined up in the pistol, like to the left or the right, or maybe it's Kareem, and they run like this weird play where Jarvis goes through the line of scrimmage and then goes out to the left and catches a pass. But it took him like 6 seconds to get to that spot, and Baker just finds him. But overall, I mean, there's so much to just like gush about for offense. Obviously, first game that Nick Chubb doesn't get 100 yards and we win, which is a good thing to know.
Fine though.
Yeah, absolutely. My thing with this is I was talking to my dad and I was like, and I'm sorry that I'm rambling, but like this game, I was just like wondering after, I was like, is Kevin Stefanski an evil genius? Because did he, for even last game, he still ran the ball considerably more than what we did this game. But like, did Kevin Stefanski just refuse to let Baker like go off until the like hardest part or the most important part of our schedule? Like these last 5 games that we have are easily the most important. And you save Baker. Maybe Kevin saw it. Maybe he was like, man, this dude can really sling the ball. I'm going to hold off on him though. Because if I can hold off on him and make teams think that we can only run the ball and Baker goes off on the Titans like he did, teams aren't going to know what to do. Teams aren't going to know like, all right, should we blitz everyone on first down and leave someone open? Should we stay back in coverage? I just don't know if he had this planned all along to let Baker sling the ball, but my God, props to the play calling on this game. It was just insane.
Yeah, it's a huge step forward for Kevin Stefanski. It's a bounds and leaps for Baker Mayfield. And to your point about Kevin Stefanski being an evil genius, I think that while I highly doubt that he was stashing Baker, as how you described it, but on, just from a principle standpoint, a management standpoint, the first Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens, Baker would throw an interception and then it would be another tight window pass, or we would come out and throw the ball 3 times right after the series Baker threw an interception. We've had the schedule and we've played in bad weather games where Baker hasn't thrown an interception. His confidence coming into this Tennessee Titans game, regardless of the talk, regardless of the people hating on him, it doesn't matter because he knows like, oh, I'm in a rhythm now. What is it? He's got 150 straight attempts or completions without
it's attempts, I think.
Yeah, he's got 150 attempts without an interception. He's the longest active streak in the NFL, I believe, some crazy stat like that. So Stefanski knows this coming in, and I think I know head coaches probably don't operate like this, but I think this is a great job by Kevin Stefanski building off the narrative of this matchup and completely stunning the Titans. This game, the whole week long, me and you talked about in the preview, it's going to be who's going to run the ball better, who's going to have the better offensive line, and who's going to be able to stop the run. Well, the Browns stopped the run better. Plain and simple. Give us props for that. That's just a fact. 2, the running games weren't even that advertised. Was there 700 plus yards from both of the quarterbacks combined and 7 touchdowns? It was an air raid game from start to finish. But that's what I was talking about in the preview. You get out to a big lead finally. The first game, since the Dallas game, we get out to a big lead. Derrick Henry's out of their formula. That's the problem with, I love running backs, and I lean toward being an old school football fan, but running backs just aren't getting it done anymore. If you get down to, if you're playing a Kansas City, if you're playing us in the first half of a couple games, if you're playing a high-powered offense, your running back's nice and all until you're down to 14, 17 points. What are you going to do? Hand the ball off all drive? I mean, that's nice. You go down the field and score 7 points. You might take 8 minutes, though. So, I mean, we completely handcuffed their offense. Great job, Kevin Stefanski. Great job, Baker Mayfield. Great job. When we needed the run game, it was there. Chubb is he's looking back to normal. I don't know how that man is doing it, but, I mean, MCL sprain, looks like never happened. Knock on wood.
The dude's Batman. That's like the greatest comparison. And I was so upset though. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, the announcers were talking about how I think Austin Hooper it was. They were like, Austin Hooper talked to us earlier about, how do you get Nick Chubb to open up on the sidelines about something? And they go, oh Marvel. Yeah, you talk about Marvel. Like, the dude advertises Batman every chance he gets, and you're gonna say Marvel?
Yeah, I messed it up.
I was
Iron Eagle. I
so
like
upset
Iron
in that
Eagle
moment.
too.
I was so upset in that moment. And my dad, like me and him are standing right next to each other the entire game. I'm like, these people are upsetting. But no, I mean, it's just like I could go on and on. Let me ask you. This will be like the final note for the offense. What was your favorite touchdown pass? Because I'm stuck between two of them, and it's not the Kendall Lamb one. Like listen, good for the big man. Again, another just play call where Kevin
Right.
Stefanski makes
I did
it
not
so
expect that
perfect.
though.
It was so perfect though. You watch Kareem come out of the backfield and take the one dude that's over there completely away, and it was just like a perfect play. But I'm more of like in the Baker Mayfield, like which throw is better? The Jarvis Landry throw where he takes the safety away from Jarvis,
First time
or
I've
the
seen
one
him
where
do
he
that
fits it
all year.
perfectly, into Rashard Higgins' breadbasket.
That's an interesting question because he doesn't look safeties off a whole lot. I felt like he was really feeling himself reading that Titans defense. So I mean, you got to lean to the Landry throw on that particular play just because of the execution. But I think the Higgins throw from just a pure, you know, he's they're all good though. They all have their merits because
Yep.
Baker's a gunslinger, but he worked in some finesse and he worked in some incorporation of other throws. Even the Kendall Lamb throw. That's all he needs to do there is a touch pass. He doesn't need to throw a fastball to Kendall Lamb there. I'm glad he figured that out, but I got to go with the Higgins ball.
Yeah. See, my thing about the Jarvis catch is like the one thing you will give Jarvis credit for each and every like time he makes an impressive catch is like it's almost like a 70-30 Jarvis is making that play because
Just getting open.
even in the Jaguars game,
Mm-hmm.
he had to like Baker knows that if he puts it in Jarvis's general area, Jarvis is going to try, and he's been so good since we've gotten out of like the bad weather situations and everything since he
Very
dropped
good.
that touchdown in the end zone against the Raiders. He has been so good, but like Baker has just put the ball in the places where only Jarvis can catch it, and Jarvis goes and he makes like a super athletic play. That's my only thing with that. But then I just go and I'm like, all right, Higgins, breadbasket, red carpet. Baker does a really cool spin move to get in to make the picture. God, perfect. I'm right there with you.
I don't even know. I don't even know what happened, but there was a play. It was I think it was before the Chubb touchdown where we faked the handoff to Chubb, and he like faked jumping over the line. It was. I
Yeah.
don't even know what happened on the play, but it was hilarious.
Jeff, I like screamed when that happened because you called it from last week. You were like,
Yeah,
I
I
want to see,
formation.
I want to see Chubb as a fullback and Kareem as the running back.
I
And
was like,
then
oh
what
my
did they
god,
do though? Like
I don't
that
even
was the Kendall Lamb
remember
touchdown.
what.
That's
Oh,
the Kendall Lamb
maybe.
touchdown.
Oh, okay. See, that's the type of creativity you got to get on the line. I mean, the defensive
Crazy.
line probably
He
thought
jumped up in the air for that too.
these are all probably our best touchdowns of the year, though. The
Yeah,
DPJ touchdown might be the best route our one of our wide receivers ran all year long. That route was
yeah,
disgusting.
yeah. Offense was amazing, and my God, it just feels so good to get that over a team that is just it's going to be a playoff team. The Titans are going to be a playoff team. But let's move to the defense a little bit. So mixed bag. Like you said, played really really well in that first half. Did they give credit? I don't think they give credit to. Or maybe it was a fumble right before half. Did their wide receiver like catch it, take a couple steps, and then
Mm,
fumble it?
AJ Brown. I don't know if that's even in the stats,
Yeah, I want to say they had 3 turnovers.
but they had
Uh,
that the Derrick Henry fumble and the pick. I guess that was three.
yeah,
Tannehill didn't have two interceptions, did he?
yeah. So defense played really well. First half, amazing run stopping by the Browns. Sheldon Richardson is still like one super unsung hero of our defense. He does so much. Again, a player that I thought was going to, um, step up his game a lot was Larry Ogunjobi, but on the other hand, it's been Sheldon Richardson. Great to see that out of him. The linebackers were filling the holes like they were supposed to for once. Felt really good about that. And our back four is pretty banged up. I think it was pretty evident, watching some of those later touchdowns that happened. I mean, Kevin Johnson was kind of getting picked on a little bit. And then, they were letting up a lot of easy stuff in that second half. But, man, to think that our starting back four is completely out right now. Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, who would have started, Grant Delpit, and Ronnie Harrison. It felt good for that first half, and then it was evident that we were missing guys. And maybe also the play calling was a little bit on both sides of the ball. The offense kind of handcuffs you a little bit if they're putting you back on the field all the time in that second half without scoring a touchdown. But all in all, I mean, I don't know that I can pick out a certain player who did really well. Myles Garrett looked, and it was surprising to hear that, like he said, COVID kicked his ass a little bit. But he still looked fast as ever, quick off the ball and everything. I'm really trying to figure out defensively, like MJ Stewart. I mean, he had the pick.
MJ Stewart played, he played good, but he was also right place, right time a lot of the game. It could have been a less. I mean, he stepped up though. You need one guy when you got players hurt. You need people to step up. That's what the great teams do so well.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be, we march into these next 4 games because it's 9-3. So we're marching into the next like 3 hardest games of our season left. The Jets being excluded from that because they can't even defend a Hail Mary.
Bye, Greg Williams.
See you later, my guy. I wanted that dude
to
be the head coach.
Yeah, you said that.
I want him to be the head coach after that. Yeah, I mean,
honestly, I wouldn't have been that mad. I mean, couldn't have been worse than Freddie.
Yeah, but we're playing 3 top 10 defenses. Surprisingly enough, the Giants are actually a good team. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's transpired. Their offense was lacking before Daniel Jones got hurt. But their defense apparently has been a top 10 defense, which has gone kind of unnoticed.
You know who's a key piece of the New York Giants defense?
Jabril?
Yeah.
Jabril?
Of course. Another Michigan bomb. Hoping to run him over.
I wasn't a huge fan of him, but he was solid he was kind of like a Carl Joseph.
He was versatile.
Yeah.
He ran back punts and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I didn't want to draft him though.
No. That was all.
What did I say about this game though? In this order, which is a weird thing to say, but in this order, win the third down efficiency. Browns 10 of 16 on third down. Titans 2 of 10 with actually highlight star-studded hit sticks on Derrick Henry for a couple of those third downs. Win the turnover battle. Mac Wilson plays great.
Yeah, I love that guy.
In the turnover battle, +2 for the Brownies. Thank you. And that fumble, that Baker fumble, is that why we don't do sneaks? Is that why? Because Baker can't hold on the ball?
That's why you don't get those.
Next, so we win 2 out of the first 2, and then 3 is better quarterback play. I said whoever won 2 out of the 3 was probably going to win. We'll take all 3. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that was, my God. I couldn't tell you how happy I was just watching that game like every other Browns fan. And, it's finally turning the corner. I think we've answered at least one of the 2 questions that we've asked in the last 4 podcasts. I think the Browns have improved. I think this is a very evident sign of that. Baker, it's always going to be a debate with Baker. It's always going to be kind of like, you don't know when you're going to get this kind of Baker again. You hope that going into the Ravens game, you get this Baker again, but who knows? It's more about what Kevin Stefanski wants than what Baker wants. Because, Baker is happy enough to hand the ball off and let Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just go wild. But I can tell you, he sure as hell is happy enough to just, let it rip and do what he did last night or yesterday and kind of just be the guy that we drafted him to be. So I'm honestly, I'm happy. I'm so satisfied with everything that's gone on. So Jeff, unless you got anything else, we'll wrap it up here.
And you can't, obviously no one is expecting Baker 4 or 5 touchdowns every game, 300+ yards, and it's still the first year, this regime has only had 12 games. We don't even have in-person meetings. We didn't even have an off season basically.
No
But
preseason games.
yeah, no preseason. But this is like with this running attack and with this offensive line and our pass protection, like that's what Baker Mayfield should be doing. I felt like that was the most open the Browns playbook has been since 1999 because I was not born until then. So, but we were literally getting everything. I felt like everything was going for 15 yards, 10, 15 yards minimum. I thought, oh, if we hand the ball off, Chubb's going to run for 20. We're going to have people open in zones, just sitting down. I mean, it was easy, man. It was easy football. The first half was easy to watch. Minor, I'm going to have a little bit of devil's advocate because if you flip the halves here, that's my only problem. The second half of this game is how the first half of the Ravens game and the Steelers game went. We were smoked. That's common though. That's football knowledge. If we go down 17-0, 21-0, is it going to be a big hole to climb out of? Yes. Are we going to maybe make it a one-score game like the Titans did? After watching how we played in that first half, you would hope you have faith if you get down that you could come back like the Titans did. I mean, credit to the Titans for not rolling over. That they had 13 points in the third quarter before we had a first down. Like they were trying. I mean, obviously no one's going to roll over for you, but if we have 38 points in the first half, it's a franchise record for the first half, and we win by less than 7 points. I'm not discrediting anybody. It was a great game. That's a game you needed to win for this franchise. That could be a whole franchise-changing game right there. The biggest game that me and you've ever seen. Go Brownies. Let's keep it rolling. Go 1-0 every week.
Go 1-0 every week. I love it. My thing would just to go back on your point about if you swap the halves, say it's the same outcome, I feel like the whole narrative is so different. I feel like the narrative just completely switches. It's like, all right, so was Baker bad? Was the play calling just bad? Because it just changes. Obviously you can't do it because it's a very you try to put it in perspective. And the first half you wouldn't be running the ball as much as we did in the second half. It's interesting. My dad said something very similar, and it kind of just made me think about that. But honestly, moving on to Baltimore. They get to play tomorrow. They're on a short week, even though
shorter. I wish we could have played them on Sunday.
Yeah, but hey, I get to go to that Monday night game, First Energy Stadium. That's this was the biggest game, but now I feel like
now we're in the AFC North though.
Yeah, now we're moving into our division, and we're moving into a game that I think this one's going to be in front of fans. This one's going to be for the division. For trying to make room in the division and everything.
When have we ever been able to say that we're 9-3, first of all, and we have a chance next week to really kind of bury the Baltimore Ravens playoff hopes, basically kind of put them out?
That would be crazy.
That fires me up.
Yeah, and trust me, if that fires you up, do you think about the 12,000 fans that are going to that game, including me, my dad? We're gonna, and my uncle,
need a vaccine.
Shout out Al Harold.
Imagine if that place was. Of course, we're 9-3. Imagine if that place was full.
The only thing about this whole thing is that we will not have home field advantage in any scenario of the AFC moving forward, because unless the Pittsburgh Steelers somehow lose out. Which I don't see that happening, but they are such a boring team to watch offensively. That's the only that I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, my God, the Browns are going to go to the playoffs, and I'm not going to be able to go to a game. And I was like,
we're going to be we're going to be the 5th seed minimum, or we're going to be the 5th seed. That's the best we can do.
Yeah,
which is so bad.
What team out of the 3 that we could play? Or no, what is it? It's the 3 teams that we could play. It's the Titans, it's the Colts, Bills. And it's the Bills. In order. Well, this will be our finishing thing.
Okay.
In order, what team would you most like to play, being number 1, you'd like to play them the most in the playoffs first round, second being middle, third being you would not want to play that team?
Okay, so I'm assuming we have Denzel Ward.
Yeah.
Is Greedy Williams like okay? Is he
Just
like
just call him out, my guy.
all
I
right?
don't know
All
what to
right,
say
well,
about him.
get him out.
Get
All
him
right,
out.
so all right, we got Denzel healthy. That's what I'm assuming.
Yep.
I would really like because I don't even know who the head coach of the Colts is. I don't want to play the Titans again,
Yep.
truthfully.
I'm there with you.
And I really don't want to play. I don't want to play any team twice, so I'll take the Bills first.
Ooh.
Bills first, Colts second, Titans third. I want to play the Titans last, just because Derrick Henry is kind of massive in the playoffs.
I agree with you. I'm going the Titans at 3, and I'm honestly in a toss-up of the Bills and the Colts. You said you want the Bills though at 1.
I want to play the Bills. I think it's Josh Allen versus Baker Mayfield. I like
That would be such a good story. But for the fact that I want to win the playoff game the most, I'm putting the Colts at 1 because I think the Colts are a way more beatable team than the Bills. The Bills scare me just because, Josh Allen has been slinging the ball and everything.
I think we match up good against the Bills, especially with Denzel.
We beat them last year, and I don't know how much changed.
We just got to get on Diggs, and that's it. I mean, I know Allen's mobile and he's going to make good throws, but I mean, just cover up Diggs and the defense. If the defense could somehow, I mean, this is looking at the stats. You're not saying, oh yeah, the Browns gave them 35 points. So defense played really good. But if the defense could somehow get better along with the offense, if we could get both sides of the ball on the incline up. Perfect timing. I mean, get hot, at the right time, just like any other sport.
Yeah, play 4 quarters all the way.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Well, I think that's where we're going to call it, Jeff. You don't got anything else?
Nope, I'm good. Go Brownies.
All right. Go Brownies. All right. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. If you guys could leave a sub, a like, a comment on the video, it would help us a lot if you guys could share this with your friends and family. We're entering the final 4 weeks of the regular season. Jeff, how are your fantasy teams doing?
My one fantasy team is going to 10-3 after this week, and my other one's going to be 9-4. I should be the 1 seed in both leagues. Travis Kelce, second round pick in both leagues. He might be a first rounder next year.
I always try to get Travis Kelce. I got smoked by Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb in one fantasy league. Going to 7-6. I'm going to lose this weekend, but I'm still going to make the playoffs because I scored massive points in the first what was it? And probably those first 7 weeks or whatever. But yeah. So anyways, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys in the preview for the Baltimore Ravens game. Peace.